the Marian apparitions of Our Lady of Akita in Japan during the 1970s constitute not only a continuation of the message of Our Lady of All Nations in Amsterdam, but also brings with it the ongoing call to recognize Our Lady as the co-redemptrix of the human race together with Jesus Christ. Welcome to MaryCast. This is Dr. Mark Miravalli, Professor of Theology and Mariology at the Franciscan University of Steubenville, and we are in a series discussing the historical high points of Our Lady as the co-redemptrix of the human race, always second and subordinate to Jesus Christ, the divine Redeemer of all humanity. And we're talking about recent apparitions, and I want to begin right from the beginning in discussing the Church's teachings regarding and the official Church position in reference to Our Lady's apparitions in Akita. The Bishop of Akita, Japan, Bishop John Ito, gave a pastoral letter of support for the Akita apparitions after his in-depth consultation with Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, who at that time was the prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith. After his consultation with Cardinal Ratzinger, Bishop Ito issued in 1984 a letter which said that indeed he gives the approval regarding the supernatural origins of apparitions which were nicknamed the Fatima of the East. These were apparitions which came in a very interesting way insofar as it really originated from a reported healing and then one religious sister's desire to give a tribute to Our Lady of All Nations. In the convent of the Handmaids of the Eucharist in Akita, Japan, one religious sister who had a physical illness was praying the prayer of the Lady of All Nations and praying to Our Lady of All Nations based on the apparitions in Amsterdam in the 1940s and 50s, asking for a cure. Well, indeed, she testifies that the Lady of All Nations did cure her physical ailment, and as a sign of gratitude, this religious sister commissioned a sculptor of the area to sculpt a statue based on the image of the prayer of the Lady of All Nations. And in some time he indeed completed this wooden statue of the Lady of All Nations. This statue was then placed in the convent of the Handmaids of the Eucharist, and very soon supernatural phenomena began to occur. Another sister in that convent by the name of Sister Agnes Sasagawa received a stigmata on her palm, the stigmata of the cross on the inside of her left palm, and began receiving apparitions which issued forth from the statue, typically in forms of locutions as well, words spoken. And the basic message was a call to daily rosary, a call for penance, a call for reparation, a reference to the need to be more generous, and that Our Lady is weeping because of the sins of humanity. Well, after these original apparitions, you had lacrimations or tears issuing from this statue of Our Lady of All Nations, lacrimations which happened on 101 occasions. That means 101 different times in which the statue would weep. During this time, Bishop Ito himself came before the statue and saw the weeping Madonna from Amsterdam, and there were actually scientific tests done on the tears which came forth from the statue, and it was designated and confirmed that the tears were of human origin. The spiritual director, Father Yashuta, writes in several volumes that the message of Our Lady of Akita is not only a continuation of the message of Amsterdam, and by the way, that statement was also something that was the position of the bishop, Bishop Ito, who wrote to the Bishop of Amsterdam saying, the message of Akita is a continuation of the message from your Diocese of Amsterdam of the Lady of All Nations. But it's also, as Father Yashuta states, it's also a message of the co-redemptrix. Our Lady, through an angel of given to Sister Agnes, the angel says that there's a great significance in the 101 times of the weeping. The significance is thus that the 1 represents Eve, the 0 of the 101 represents God's eternity, the never-ending nature and omnipotence of God, and then the second 1 represents Mary, the new Eve. This is her role as the co-redemptrix of humanity. And Our Lady mentions through the angel to Sister Agnes that the reason for her tears is the rejection of God in the world today, and even makes reference of a conditional upcoming chastisement if the world does not repent. And of course we have references of a possible chastisement in the messages of Fatima, the possible annihilation of nations, that the Holy Father will have much to suffer. So this is not a new concept, but what's very profound here is that the Lady of Akita, based on the image of Amsterdam, is saying, I am mystically suffering because of the sins of humanity. My tears are a testimony to the ongoing sufferings. You know, John Paul II, in a beautiful homily at Syracuse in Italy, said that Mary's cosmic tears are a reference of her maternal love and her care for humanity. And so Akita continues the call for Amsterdam, which means Akita also continues the call for the fifth Marian dogma, because indeed it's right that Our Lady be acknowledged for her work with Jesus in acquiring the graces of redemption, in her ongoing mystical suffering because of the sins of humanity, and underscoring once again the need for this dogma for peace, a peace which only Our Lady can intercede for the world. So, quoting again Bishop Ito, Akita, the approved apparitions of Akita is a continuation of the approved apparitions of Amsterdam, a call for the dogma, a call to recognize Our Lady's role as the co-redemptrix, and a humility call to give Our Lady the fiat she needs to intercede for us, mitigation from things like just punishment and chastisement because of the sins of humanity, an intercession for the peace that we so desperately long for in our troubled world. This is Dr. Mark Miravalli. Thanks for being with us at MaryCast. God bless.